Alrighty, so this is the front hub. This is the rear. I've already cleaned up the rear one. Now I assumed it had a differential in it, and it does not. It's a solid piece in there, kind of like a planetary ear, but not really. Now the front has a differential. I'm not sure if that's how it's meant to be or if somebody has rigged this one. But by what I can tell, it's not rigged. But I cleaned it out, cleaned up the bearings. Got a light coat of grease on everything inside there. So this one sounds a whole lot better now. Now it's on to this one. This is the one I was worried about because the front end is making like a stripping noise, like gear stripping. So I gotta get these screws out. And now somebody said before that the front and rear are exactly the same. Not on this model, I guess, because the rear has 4 screws, front has 2. We're going to take it apart though. Now that back one I had to pry apart. This one I didn't have to do so much. But it still seems to be the one that's a problem. And right now I'm praying I can figure out where all these screws go when I put all these back together. But the rear one had a lot of like grinding dirt. This one is pretty bad. Okay. So I gotta take all that apart. See if I have my screwdriver for that. Well. Doesn't seem I have it here, so I gotta grab it. Alright. So I got a screwdriver here. Hopefully we can get this apart. Oh. Now this is a totally new thing for me. I've actually never had one of these, the E-Maxx, before. And this one, I came across it in a hobby shop. And they had a good deal on it. It was pretty much complete. Batteries were shot. So I got it. Pretty much I got it running. Played around with it. Let my son drive it. So now we're going to fix it up. And what I'm finding is it has a lot of upgraded parts on it. So like the axles, I believe, are upgraded. The aluminum hub pieces, those are upgrades. A lot of the pieces has got the RPM A-arms and stuff, so had to do this with a lot of these. I don't know if they're supposed to be that tight or not. I guess we'll figure it out, huh? This grease, though, has gotten to the point where it's really sticky, so I have to spray it down with starting fluid. That's what I'm using. I wash them off real quick, spray on the starting fluid, let them dry, and then I'm going to cover them with a light bit of grease. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and cover it with grease again is probably in the next 2 years, year or two, I figure my son will be old enough to rebuild it again and change out a lot of these parts. Hopefully we'll be able to do that later. Okay, so there's the planetary gears, and they're just soaked, or not soaked, sticky. Alright, so these ones are exactly the same, so everything's pretty universal, which is pretty nifty. Oh my gosh. Alright. So, I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and I'll dry it off, sprayed, and we're going to put it back together. Alrighty, so found out what the stripping was. This planetary gear has a semi-flat spot there, and unfortunately at this time I don't have the money to do anything about it, so we're going to have to put it together like it is, which isn't a big deal because when I do get this planetary gear, I'm going to get the whole planetary gear system. I'm going to go ahead and replace the whole thing, so that's what the stripping is. So at least I know where it is now. Alrighty guys, so that's this put back together. I cleaned up the transmission, and it seems really solid. Shifts good. So I'm not going to take it apart. I went ahead and just cleaned it up. And that knocking noise is in there from the piece that shifts gears. It actually moves back and forth and slides into place, and it has a kind of like a give point, an opening. So yeah, I'm going to get this all put back together, get the rest of the parts cleaned up. I've got wheel bearings to look at and stuff, so I'm going to take care of that. I'll see you next time.